Welcome to another edition of Food, Faith, and Feelings, brought to you from the Gwinnett Sonesta Hotel on Business RadioX. You can find us and all of our shows by going to businessradiox.com at the Gwinnett studio. I want to thank Mr. Rick Strawn, who has been a dear friend of mine for so very long, and Paradigm Security for being a part of helping us to be, and coming to Mike, whom I've known also for a very long time through the Gwinnett Chamber. It's been just super fun. Again, I want to talk about attachment styles and how they impact our relationships. If you didn't hear our last segment, please go back and listen to that first before you listen to this one. But first, I want you guys to reflect back maybe, 10, 20 years. I'm showing my age again. And listen to this gentleman.
I deserve good things. I am entitled to my share of happiness. I refuse to beat myself up. I am an attractive person. I am fun to be with.
Daily Affirmation with Stuart Smalley. Stuart Smalley is a caring nurturer, a member of several 12-step programs, but not a licensed therapist.
I'm going to do a terrific show today, and I'm going to help people because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
Are you a Stuart? I hope you are, even though it's corny and way back from those SNL days from the 90s, I think. Yeah, I love Stuart. And so let's talk about what helps people learn how to be good enough, smart enough, and know that people like them. So I was talking last time about our developmental timeline and what things are happening in our brains as we grow. We dropped off around the age of 3. The age of 3 to 4 is really, really interesting developmentally. I don't know if you guys know, but your brain grows from the back forward. So basically from where the brainstem hits the brain, and there's this inside, deep inside is our connection to both sides of the brain, memory formation, emotional, like that are where the emotional stores are. And then the outside is basically called our neocortex, and it grows from the back forward. And so we are really functionally not an adult until our brain hits somewhere between 25 and 30. That means that our brain doesn't have the full functionality of adult thinking. And so if you have a teenager that's like 15 or 16, I want you to think about them as being half-baked. Sorry, a little joke there. But, sorry, not sorry. But seriously, they don't have the capacity to think and reason like an adult does. So let's go back to age 3 or 4. So the front part of our brain, which is our prefrontal cortex, it's where sort of the adult part develops. And everything sort of fuses together there. We have attention, we have our personality, we understand abstract concepts, we can think about, if I do this, then this could happen. So we have like planning and all kinds of things just converge there. Going back to the age of 2, right? We are little parrots. We have learned how to speak. We know words. We understand no. We understand come here, mommy, dad. We understand the basic things. There's a huge difference between a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. I don't know if you guys have had kids, but it's almost like a 2-year-old will parrot back, no, daddy, I don't want to do that. No, daddy. A 3-year-old will look at you like, come at me, boy. I'm not doing that. Completely different in the way that they understand the word no. When they say it, they mean it. And so something happens in the brain between 2 to 3, and it gets more developed around 4. This is the sense of I. I am. I am a boy. I am a girl. I am funny. I am not funny. There are things that change. And so around this age, it is our most natural narcissistic time in life. Everything that happens is because of me. We develop a self-concept in terms of how we're interacting with the world. My first memory, and this is going to make sense to a lot of you guys who know me, my first memory is around the age of 3.5 to 4. My parents were sitting, it was like a Saturday morning. They were laying in bed and I was at the foot of the bed. And one of them said, Genie, will you go get me a Pepsi from the refrigerator? Well, it was in the morning. And I was like, no, that's not good for you. And they laughed. And so Funny Genie was born. I distinctly remember this. And so this is a time of, it's just a really amazing time in the life of a child. I know it's hell. I know they say the terrible 2s, but I say the tantrum 3s, and they're more terrible than 2. And if something bad happens during this time, for example, I treated a woman, I don't know, a long time ago, 15, 20 years ago. And she was 28 years old and had this very, very deep depression. We call it like a very, she would go in and out of this depressive state. A major depression, major depressive episodes. I don't know why my brain's not thinking today, but she had major depression and she would cycle in and out of those. And so I started taking things back. Okay. So this is going to explain why therapists like to go back to your childhood, because there's a whole lot of stuff back there that people don't talk about. We worked for months on identifying things in her life and when she started feeling depressed. And usually when someone says, I've always felt this way, I can't remember a time that I haven't felt this way. Go back before the age of 8 and find whatever the tragedy or the trauma is. When we got to a point where she remembered when she was 8 years old that she was watching her parents talk. They were in a fight, and somehow that night they decided that they were going to split up, and she was there watching them. Again, she was around 4 years old. She, from that point forward, remembered that incident and always believed that she, as the 4-year-old, was responsible for her parents getting a divorce. I want you to let that sink in. So if you think that a child is not absorbing or remembering the things that happened to them, especially around 3 or 4, you're wrong, especially if the child. So thinking about that, if there are major problems that happen during this time, 3 or 4 years old, a parent dies, gets sick, has to go away, works, like all these different things. This can impact, if something major happens, maybe a sexual trauma. Lots of people talk about being abused the first time around 3 or 4 years old. And I think a lot of people that abuse children don't understand that this is one of the worst times to abuse a child because I'm sorry. Scratch that. There is no good time to abuse a child. But they believe that they're not ever going to remember that. And it is so contrary to the truth, because what happens is if somebody is receiving a negative energy, negative treatment, maltreatment from someone, yelling at them, hitting them, anything like that, they are going to develop a negative belief about themselves. And so last time we talked about the secure attachment style and the ambivalent attachment style. The secure attachment style says, I'm good enough, and so are you. The ambivalent attachment style says, I am not good enough, but you are. But you don't love me because I'm so bad. So now I'm going to go into the avoidant attachment style. The avoidant attachment style says, I am worthy of love. I am capable of getting the love and the support that I need. So I'm good. I'm okay. But the other person, you, are either unwilling or incapable, not trustworthy, unreliable in meeting my needs and in loving me. You can't do it. So this is what makes us avoid people, because we think that, I'm okay right now, I'm safe enough, but you're not. That's another attachment style. So someone that doesn't like to be around people because they think that people are going to try and hurt them. Then we're going to go into the disorganized attachment style. And this is where I tend to treat a lot of people that have this disorganized attachment style because I'm not good enough and neither are you. And so the world is hell and we should just all die. So in the self dimension, I'm not worthy of love. I am not capable of getting the love I need without being angry and clingy. So there's lots of defenses that develop in order to protect the self. And so if I think that I am a bad person, I'm not good enough, I'm gross, I'm ugly, I'm whatever that negative thought is, not good enough, I'm going to do things to protect myself. And so I might rage at you. I might get angry at you. I might think that the only way I can get help and support is to demand it or to pay for it, or lots of different things that way. The way I see the other person is that you're not able to meet my needs. You're not trustworthy. You're not reliable. You're abusive. And furthermore, I deserve to be abused because I'm such a bad person. This disorganized attachment, it can look and feel very, very, very chaotic. And you may feel as a friend or as a person that's trying to help them that there is absolutely nothing that you can do to soothe this person. And there's a lot that says that is actually true. The problem is that even these people in therapy struggle, because as a therapist, I am trying to give them the best that I can, the best knowledge, the best information, the best care, the best responses to their thoughts and their feelings, and the best support. And they will even believe that they cannot, I can't accept this. And so people that end up coming in that have eating disorders, that have addiction, that are suicidal, that have all these different things, this is part of why they struggle, is because they don't feel good about themselves. They've never felt good about themselves. And if you trace it back all the way back to, 5, 6, 3, or 4, they really have had a very chaotic upbringing, lifestyle, and so they don't have that sense of everything is going to be okay. It's like, yeah, okay, you can say that, but there's the other shoe's going to drop. Something bad's going to happen, and I'll be caught off guard, and that's not okay. I have to protect myself. So a lot of times people, when they have ambivalent, disorganized, or avoidant attachment, their defense system. So if I want you to think about a house, right? You are the house. And then I want you to think about the fence around the house. All right. Fences typically have doorways. You can see through them. They might have two, some wood and then a blank space and another piece of wood. There's just, lots of ways that fences are developed and built. But usually there's some way in and some way out. Think about that as the way that people can connect. And then I want you to think about people that don't have a good sense of self. And so if they don't feel like they're worthy, they might have rusty nails, and like they may have their defenses. As I'm talking about the fence, I want you to think about defenses. The fence is falling apart and they don't fix it. They don't feel that they are worthy of taking care of themselves. And so they might get themselves into a situation where they want to be loved, but they end up being hurt or abused. So I want you to think about people that have stronger fences, right? Like they have 6 foot high, 6 foot deep concrete and steel fences around them, metaphorically. Those are going to probably be more of the avoidant type because they don't want anyone to get in there and hurt them. And then the disorganized, they're going to have, maybe they don't have a fence. Maybe they don't have a way of protecting themselves. And so they might do things that are a little crazy, a little chaotic, but a lot of the times it's because there's a lot of unresolved pain inside of themselves. They have hurts, they have wounds, they were never taught how to protect themselves because they've always believed that they weren't worth it. And so you might see erratic behavior. You might see them get drunk and start doing things that are obscene, or they might steal. There's lots of things that can happen as a result of them not feeling lovable and good enough. So for the people out there that are listening to this and you can think of a person that's that way, I'm going to give you a challenge. I want you to love them anyway. I want you to give them the benefit of the doubt. I want you to try as much as you can to love unconditionally. Now, I know how hard that is. It is trying. You can be tired. If this is your child, sometimes there are biological things that happen. Sometimes there's environmental things that happen. There's relational things that happen. But I want you to try to love them anyway. Be Jesus with skin on. I love Jesus. He is, in my mind, the most loving human that there ever was. And so I want you to try and think about that person as a wounded child and love them and speak to them with respect and love and dignity. And so I think I am done for the day. This has been a lot. I like to give little bite-sized pieces. If you have any thoughts, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me on the Food, Faith, and Feelings Facebook page, and I'll be glad to respond to that. If you have anything that you would like for me to speak on that is about emotion and behavior that is maybe not healthy, anything that's about psychology, please hit me up. Anyway, I appreciate you guys listening. I know we went way deep, dove right in. Please listen to part 1 and then listen to this one, and we'll talk soon. So again, I want you to please follow us on Food, Faith, and Feelings on Business RadioX or on Facebook. We also have a Vimeo page as well as a TikTok. So this is Dr. Genie Burnett, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.